It has been a few weeks. I think about 2 weeks since I've done a live. Mainly just because I've been traveling. So we got some super exciting stuff popping off today, and I just want to get back into the swing of it. So give it a moment while I get set up, but I am almost there. LMH Hawk 47. Can you let me know how my audio is? Is the audio too loud? Let me know because this is the first time I'm trying audio this way. So LM Hawk 47, can you give me a thumbs up, thumbs down for audio, please? Or user 504. Good, 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 good. And then LM Hawk, the screen is everything visible. This is the first time where I'm doing like the smaller screen, and I can't really see what it looks like on your side. So the feedback is helpful. Um, okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. LM Hawk, have we met before? By the way, have you jumped on one of these lives before? Um, yeah, I'm curious. I don't think we've met before. Your at least your icon does not look familiar. But just curious. I'm also going to be kicking this off in like the next 2 minutes or so. Just want to give. Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Lisa. Just going to give people a few moments to jump in. How's your day going, by the way, Lisa? Anything exciting for you? And I'm also getting over a little cold, so that's a whole nother thing. This is about to be very crunchy, but I'm going for it today. I was trying to postpone it, and I'm like, yo, it's been 2 weeks, so I just need to get back into things. Um, so yes, I really hope that the audio is not so clear that you can hear all the phlegm in my voice, but good. Yeah. I'm hoping that the phlegm is not too bad. Wedding planning is actually going pretty well. Look, I'll be honest. I can pretend that I am doing the heavy planning, but it's really my fiance. Pam, good to see you. It's really my fiance doing the heavy lifting there. I did make sure that we got a really good planner, but to be fair, it's just like I don't have opinions on which chairs we have at the wedding. I don't have opinions on what napkins or silverware we have. So it's yeah, I don't. It's going well. She's handling it. This is where I'm taking a backseat. But we did go over like some of the logistics today, which was like getting our hotel blocks and the whole nine, which all went well. Um, Pam, it is good to see you. I am happy to be back. Roger, good to see you as well. Devil Dogs, good to see you. Facts, Lisa. I really like show up for the important meetings. She runs budget by me, and we call it a day. Pam, I don't know if you noticed, but this is also a new camera lens. So I'm hoping that it is a bit more clear than it was for the last one. AB fam, good to see you. Yo, I was in Europe for 2 weeks. So during that time, I laid off with TikTok lives, of course. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Roger. That is good to hear. I also just kicked off, like today, this video is actually going to be shared on YouTube. So I just kicked off the YouTube channel as well. Lots of little updates happening, but huge stuff happening right now in the world. And I'm like, yo, by being away for 2 weeks, it feels like it's been 6 months, given just the number of things that have been going on. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. With that said, y'all, we are about like 6 minutes in. I'm trying my best to also be more punctual so that people know exactly when I am actually going to be on these lives. So, with that said, I'm actually going to kick it off, y'all. This is actually the first episode of what I am calling the Benson Report. I'm your host, of course, Philip Aubrey, who is also the CEO of Benson AI. For those that are new here, Benson uses AI to do all of the investing for you all automatically. And the Benson Report is where we break down what's actually happening in the market, how to make money from it, and more importantly, how this impacts your actual wallet. And today we're basically going over how to dominate during the government shutdown. And for those that are also new here, we do a little thing. It's probably a tradition at this point. The tradition is actually, if we get this live up to 100,000 likes, I will also share my stock of the day. The stock of the day is essentially one of my most exciting stocks, specifically for today/tomorrow, that for various reasons is really exciting. As for, yes, sir, we are still only Apple. As for what we're going over today, one, we're going to go over what is actually happening with this government shutdown. And I want to be very clear that when we're talking about this government shutdown, we're not talking about this from a political spin, left or right. We're talking about this based on facts and data. The second thing we're going over is I'm pretty much going to go over the data on what happens during a government shutdown. And I say that because most people don't have a concept of how the economy actually changes for better or worse during a government shutdown. So I'll be definitely going over that. And when I say going over that, we're talking about I have had our AI analyze every single government shutdown since 1976. Fun fact, there have been 22 government shutdowns since 1976. And then last but not least, we are going to go over how Benson is attacking this government shutdown. I think of this as a really good way to kind of keep everybody up to speed that are using Benson so that they understand what's happening in the background. And then for the people who are sitting on the sidelines trying to do all the investing stuff on their own, at least you can take it and run with it for tips of what other smart people are actually doing. But I will say there is like a little plot twist with this whole government shutdown thing. We are currently on day number 7 of the government shutdown, and roughly 900,000 federal workers are sitting at home, essentially waiting with no sign of when all of this ends. And at the same time, the stock market has hit all-time highs. Like, I'll say that again because it's really hard to put that it's really hard to put that into my brain around what the heck is happening. We have nearly 1 million people who work for the federal government who are waiting at home, not collecting a paycheck, and yet the stock market is hitting all-time highs. Why has that happened? What does this mean? We're going to go over all of that today. I think more importantly, the main goal here is really to answer the question of like, yo, should I panic? How do I position myself to win and, think about this critically so that we're not, doing silly moves while this whole thing is going on. So in addition to that, feel free, as always, drop some questions in the chat. Let me know where I can double down. Think of this as really us here, chopping it up, going over what's happening. So with that said, headline number 1, the shutdown that broke every single rule. Devil Dogs is spot on, by the way. The shutdown that broke every single rule. So right now, facts only. No opinions, just facts. Congress has missed the September 30 midnight deadline. And this is actually now the first government shutdown since 2018/19. Since missing that deadline, the government has completely shut down. And the Senate has met and voted 5 times on the bills that would hopefully reopen our government. And all 5 have failed. And the main issue right now is just that the left and right, Republicans and Democrats, are essentially arguing over the Affordable Care Act. Democrats want the Affordable Care Act subsidy extension now rather than waiting until December. And Republicans, on the other hand, they're like, no, we want to wait until December to decide on what to happen with the Affordable Care Act. That is the main reason that that is the only reason that the government has shut down as of right now. Now, why is this such a big deal? Why are both sides really going back and forth? It's actually quite simple. 24 million, I repeat, 24 million Americans essentially are in the crosshairs of this. Meaning, this could go very poorly for every single person that uses the Affordable Care Act. And that is, by the way, again, 24 million people. So this is not a small deal. We got to keep in mind that healthcare or medical expenses is the number one reason in America for bankruptcy. It is one of the largest contributing factors for Americans going in debt as well. So when we talk about taking healthcare off the table, that is not like a joke for most people. Well, when I say most people, 24 million Americans for sure. Now, I think all of that stuff, when we're listening to the news and hearing them explain all of that stuff, it sounds super complicated. So to think about this super simply, the way I've been explaining this to people is that you are watching two roommates fight over the Wi-Fi payment. And these two roommates are saying, oh, should I pay the bill on the 1st or should I pay the bill on the 15th? One says pay that bill right now because you know you're going to have to pay it no matter what. The other one is like, no, I want to wait till the 15th because maybe my rate will change. Something, I don't know, something like that. The one that says pay that bill right now, it's the first of the month, are Democrats. And Republicans, on the other hand, are saying, yo, we're going to wait until the 15th, aka the last possible day, to decide on what we want to do with that bill. And, so right now they're just going back and forth. And meanwhile, you still have to make money at your job right now. Your side hustle is still moving. You still have bills to pay. It doesn't really matter when or when not you actually pay that bill. It just means that, you have to make a decision. But we're talking about this at a government level where this impacts 24 million people. So this is actually a big deal right now. And why do we actually care? Even if you're not on the Affordable Care Act, plain and simple, this impacts everyone. This absolutely impacts everyone. This impacts our taxes. This impacts how our government treats, people who are in need of healthcare. Keep in mind, we are the only country in the developed world. I know that term is sort of like, not the best to use, but we are the only country in the developed world that does not have healthcare, like public healthcare for everyone. Right now, our healthcare is directly tied to employment, and if not employment, it is actually tied to the Affordable Care Act. And right now, we are watching the left and right fight over how important this is to keep. And Affordable Care Act, to be fully transparent, is the only way that a lot of Americans are able to afford their bills, their medical bills specifically. It's a lot, and I don't want to minimize just how big of a deal this actually is. And spot on. Healthcare is a joke in our country specifically. Somebody just dropped in the chat. CJ Rocco said healthcare is a joke specifically in the United States. And it's because we mark up the prices by, 600-900%, whatever the case is, just to make sure that the companies are making, buku money off of all of us. Now, with that said, I have a personal gripe with all of this right now. So my little controversial take right here about this entire healthcare stuff, the government being shut down, is that essentially we are watching both sides, the left and the right, play political theater. And this is a problem. This is a problem because this actually impacts everyone. And we are watching people who don't have to worry about the Affordable Health Care Act, where we're talking about people who, make a few $100,000 a year, all of our senators and congressmen and all the billionaires and lobbyists supporting them. We're watching all of them right now essentially play a game that impacts roughly 24 million Americans. And it just reminds you just how much or how little regular people have while the wealthy have everything, to the point where this doesn't impact them. For them, it is a few lines on a piece of paper called a bill. And, it sucks because you have real people and real lives at stake given all of this government shutdown stuff. And if I was my grandma, I'd be wagging my finger at both parties right now. And I think, the media right now is essentially trying to, depending on who you listen to, whether it's Fox, CNN, whatever the case, it's going to paint the other side as the problem. To me, this is both sides are really showing their butt right now. They're really showing just how disconnected they are from regular people. We have airports in the country that are completely shut down. We have people who, if this does not, if this does not happen, if this is not cleared up very soon, we are going to see healthcare payment rates for some people jump up 400%. It's a shame that we are watching the people who are supposed to lead this country do something that is so negligent, in my opinion. Now, I do have a few points about this government shutdown that I love to remind people of because I've been having this conversation quite a bit. Right now, the estimates are saying, based on government rating, political party ratings specifically, people are estimating that this government shutdown is actually going to end somewhere between the 12th and the 15th. The data shows that since 1976, the average government shutdown only lasts essentially 8 days. Now, that's average since 1976. Again, I told you guys that I was going to come with data here talking about some of the numbers that we've pulled out since analyzing every single one of the 22 different government shutdowns since 1976. And when you look at the numbers going all the way back to 1976, on average, the government shutdown generally lasts for 8 days. Today, we're on day number 7. So right now, when you look at prediction markets, look at the data, people are saying that the government shutdown is going to essentially most likely be resolved around the 12th or the 15th. Okoji, good to see you. Now, shutdowns since 1990 specifically. Now, if you were to say, hey, I don't care about 1976, that was a bit too far back. If you were to say, make the timeline 1990, on average, government shutdowns last for roughly 14 days, which still put us in that, 12 to 15th day range. We are now on day number 7, and most people are predicting that the government shutdown is going to last and be wrapped up somewhere between the 12th and the 15th. And the main reason for the government shutdown being wrapped up by then is actually because of polling. What you tend to recognize is that how long the government shutdown lasts is directly correlated to how both Democrats and Republicans are polling. Neither party has much leeway to make a mistake. And right now, when you look at the data, again, not opinion, when you look at the data, 38% of Americans blame Republicans for this government shutdown. Keep in mind, they do run all 3 branches of the government. All 3. So yes, 38% of Americans are blaming Republicans. On the flip side, 27% of Americans are blaming Democrats. 38 and 27. There is still about 31% of the population that is unaccounted for. That 31% of the population is actually blaming both sides. And that is exactly where I land. I think, again, this is political theater that we're watching. We are watching very rich people play with healthcare for the average American. And 31% of America also agrees. And I think because you see that a big chunk, again, this is nearly a third of America is saying, yo, I don't care. I don't care if it's Republicans or Democrats. Y'all both are the problem right now. Because we are seeing such a large percentage of the population blame both sides, that puts a lot of pressure on the entire all of the branches of the government to figure it out. I do not care about your opinion is essentially what Americans are saying right now, which is honestly beautiful. This is the one thing where I would say over the last, I don't know, since Trump won, this is probably the single most united front that left and right have come to terms on. Since then, we have not seen the left and the right really agree on much of anything. And right now, we are seeing about a third of the country say, yo, the left and the right, y'all both acting wild right now. It's too much going on for y'all to be playing with healthcare. Of all things, healthcare. So right now, based on all of this pressure that our politicians are getting, we are looking at roughly 12 to 15 days in total for this government shutdown. So by the 12th or the 15th, somewhere within that range is what people are anticipating for this government shutdown to be wrapped up. Now, that still does not give you the answer for how to dominate during this, because yes, that's the negative news. But there is still something happening on the flip side that I am personally super excited about. Now, yes, we want to go over what's happening in the market, what's happening in the news, but there is always a lens, which is that under all circumstances, there is an opportunity to make sure that you come out on top. And this is the fun thing about investing for me. It's like you are able to look at data, look at history, and say, cool, how do the smartest people operate based on all of the negative things? And what you start to realize is that regardless of what's happening in the world, there is always an angle that you can take if your goal is to improve your financial well-being. Now, that government shutdown stuff is all the negative news, the headlines, X, Y, and Z, but there's some glimmers of light underneath it. And that does not discount the fact that, again, this is still crappy that our government is doing this. But this does translate to direct opportunities for every smart person to be making money in the stock market. And what that essentially means, number one, right now, I don't know if you know this, but the Fed is operating blind. I'll say that again. The Fed is flying blind. On Friday of last week, the September jobs report was supposed to be released. It was not. It is actually delayed indefinitely. Now, the Fed has to make October rate decisions without unemployment data. Now, what does that mean when you hear all of this? They have to make a decision without the right amount of data. What that means for you is actually quite simple. What that means is that the likelihood of an interest rate cut just shot up aggressively. I'll say that again. The likelihood and the magnitude of an interest rate cut just shot up aggressively because there is no way that the government or the feds say, hey, we don't have a lot of data, so we are going to keep everything the same, or we're only going to make small changes. No. This is the time where the Fed is like, yo, we are flying blind, and as a result, we need to be extra cautious. And what that means, again, is that we are now increasing the likelihood and odds that the Federal Reserve specifically reduces interest rates. For those that don't know what that actually means, it's actually quite simple. When interest rates go down, the stock market goes up. So despite all of this negative news, we are saying that by the end of this month, October 29th, the Federal Reserve is going to reduce interest rates. Meaning, if you are smart and you are playing the long-term game and you are invested in the stock market, this is really good news for you. This essentially means that you could expect a really nice bump. I don't know how large of a bump, but some bump by the end of October, specifically October 29th, which is when the government or the Federal Reserve has to announce what's going on. As it stands today, the market is already pricing in a 25 basis point cut. If things continue to look as bad as they've been looking for the last 7 days, that may shoot up to 50 basis points. Means that, which translates to the stock market shooting up even higher. So the beautiful thing about all of this that I think most people are completely missing when they're paying attention only to the news is that there is a historical pattern here. Government shutdowns equal buying opportunities. Void Echo, you just said it perfectly. Government shutdowns equal perfect buying opportunities. If you are smart, you understand that right now is possibly one of the best times that you could be jumping into the stock market. You could be doubling down on some of your best possible investments. And when you look at the data from the last 22 government shutdowns, there's a clear pattern. Again, this is not opinions here. There is data that supports this. By the way, I just had our AI do all of the research. So it's not like I have to do all this on my own. I get assistance from AI to do all of this research on all of our investments. But with that said, since 1976, on average, during every single government shutdown, the stock market increases by roughly 30 basis points, which is fine, which is less than 1%, but it's fine. But I think the key point here is that it increases, which is the complete opposite of what people think. If you're watching the news only, you would think that a government shutdown means the stock market goes down, and it's the exact opposite. During a government shutdown, the stock market actually goes up, and it's up by roughly 30 basis points on average since 1976. And this is looking at, again, 22 different government shutdowns. The second and more exciting point is just that 12 months after a government shutdown, on average, the S&P has jumped up 13%. I'll say that again. During a government shutdown, on average, it creeps up about 0.30 or 0.30%. 12 months after, it shoots up on average about 13%. This has happened on average since 1976. So the reason why I had to come here and like point this out is because if you're looking at the news right now, you think it's your time to wait for clarity. You would be doing the single dumbest thing possible, waiting for clarity. Chaos is your opportunity to go in and scoop up things while they are on sale. This is not the time where you sit on the sidelines and hope that, some clarity is going to like fall upon you and you're finally going to have the perfect day. This is not that time. This is actually the time where you double down, you get smart, and you say, oh crap, we are recognizing that most people are panicking right now, meaning you're going to see flash sales up and down, up and down. Smart people are saying, yo, play the game. Because you're going to wake up in 12 months. And on average, when you look at all the way back since 1976, on average, within the next 12 months after a government shutdown, the stock market has jumped up another 13%, translating to crazy all-time highs. Crazy all-time highs. And to put this into perspective, just in case the people do not believe me when I say this, I want you to look at what happened on day number 1 of this current government shutdown. I won't even have you do the research. I will tell you exactly what happened. Day number 1 of the government shutdown, aka October 1 of 2025. Guess what happened? The stock market hit all-time highs on the first day of the government shutdown of October 2025. This is no different from history. But again, when you're paying attention to the news is going to make you believe, oh my God, the world's ending. Oh my God, the world's ending. This happened in April. We saw this exact thing happen in April. Trump had everyone quivering in their boots about these tariff stuff. What did smart people do? What did we at Benson do? We played the game. And the game is when that stock market was getting beat up back in April of 2025, just like, 5-6 months ago. What did we do? We doubled down and we started investing more during that crash. Why, you ask? Of course, I'm so glad that you asked. Great students here today, y'all. The reason is quite simple, because when it bounced back, we were going to be riding that wave up, and on average, we got to buy things while other people were fearful. CJ Rocco, spot on. Spot on. So again, this is not the time where you sit on the sideline waiting for clarity. This is not the time where you try to switch up your process, hoping you're about to come up with something new. The only thing you should be doing right now is understanding that, hey, this is the time to be investing and you're putting action behind it. You do not wait for clarity, because let's be honest here. There is no point in history where you're like, wow, everything is great. I'm just going to start investing today. It doesn't happen. It is a false reality that we constantly lie to ourselves about. But right now is possibly one of the best times for all of us to be focused on the long term here. I understand that CNN, Fox, all the news outlets are going to wake up and have you terrified. Your fear is not reality. And the sooner you understand that, the better off you are. right now, the single best thing that you could be doing is understanding that this is the opportunity that everybody has been waiting for. We saw this in April. The people who missed out on April, they screwed up. They screwed up. And for the people who were on Benson and were, doubling down, Pam being one of those people here, Kimberly Draft being another one of those people here, your portfolio, crushing it because you were able to focus on the bigger picture. You did not allow the news to scare you away from doing what is absolutely best for you and your finances. Now, with that said, there's another interesting thing about this government shutdown that impacts everybody who is trying to be smart about their money, which is Timmy Parker, another one of those people that was investing with Benson in April. Your portfolio rewards you for those sort of moments, being able to stick to the plan, ride out the lows, and prepare for when things bounce back. That is how smart people play this game. Jamal said, we need an official podcast. Yo, I'm not even going to hold you, brother. I am actually recording this right now specifically for YouTube. What I'll actually be doing is just, one, kicking off my YouTube channel. But two, I'm going to strip out the audio from this, and then I would be putting it straight on Spotify as well. So the goal is that I want to get all of this information out to more people more easily, not just on TikTok. So this is actually day number 1 of that experiment for me. So Jamal, you are right on. Marissa Prather said, "Oh, Marissa, that's you. Good to see you." Marissa said, and I love when people jump in the chat and actually share how things are going with Benson. Marissa just said, "My portfolio is on fire because of you." I appreciate you for saying that, Marissa. Marissa, actually, I will look it up for you. This is just a quick little break. For those that are new here, I am Philip. I am the CEO of Benson AI. What we do is we use AI to do all of your investing for you all automatically. And in the chat, you'll see that there are actual people who use the app. Marissa is one of those people. So I am actually just going to pull up her account right now to see how her portfolio is doing. Kimberly Draft is another one of those people as well. Stephanie said no commercial. Stephanie, I actually want to re-record that commercial so that it's a bit more in my style. Now I've changed a few things in how I communicate since I recorded that commercial, but I will be re-recording another one. So appreciate you for making sure I stick to that. I was supposed to record another commercial today, Stephanie, but I just did not. I was just busy, crazy busy. So right now we're taking a quick little break because I am actually pulling up someone's portfolio right now. And I just want to see how things are going. I have not looked at Marissa's portfolio in quite some time, but she is one of the OG users of Benson. Fun fact, she is number 4,744. We are on like user 36,000 at this point. Marissa is user number 4,744. So how is her portfolio doing as of today? As of today, since January, her portfolio is up 53%. She has been investing consistently with a streak of 35 weeks. 35 weeks straight, no breaks. And as a result of all of that consistency, meaning she was also investing during the month of April, which is when everything crashed, everybody was panicking, Marissa stuck to the plan. As a result, again, her portfolio is up 53%. Oh crap, Marissa, is it okay for me to say your portfolio value out loud, aka the dollar amount for your portfolio? Is it okay with you, Marissa? I don't want to share anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, but it is okay. Cool. Marissa started with us, of course, with no money. I'm not saying she had no money other places, but I am saying that she didn't bring $10,000 over and say, hey, take this $10,000 and grow with it. Meaning she built her portfolio up from ground zero with Benson. Today, this portfolio is at $32,000, meaning she has crossed crazy milestones. For those that don't know, the first milestone that I say every investor has to cross before you can think about anything else, get your first $1,000 invested in the stock market. That's milestone number 1. Milestone number 2 is getting your first $5,000 in the market. When you get your first $5,000 in the market, you realize that you are doing better than most Americans. Most Americans do not have access to $5,000. Marissa is way past that point. Milestone number 3 is getting $10,000 in the market. $10,000 is when you start to really realize you've unlocked the cheat code to this whole game of building wealth. That is when you start to realize, like, oh crap, what happens if I got $100,000 in the market and that grew 10%? That's an extra 10 grand right there. You get 10% back on $10,000. You're like, crap, I just made $1,000 without doing any crazy work. That's milestone number 3. Marissa is past that. Milestone number 4 is getting $25,000. Milestone number 5 is getting $50,000 in the market. $50,000 in the market. Marissa is working towards that milestone. So Marissa, I just want to say publicly and in front of everyone, good job. Sticking to the plan is quite literally the single hardest thing for most people to do. Most people make comments like what Jerry just made. Jerry just said the market is too unpredictable. It's actually not. When you look at the stock market over a long period of time, aka 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, you see that it's going up and to the right. If you are a day trader, absolutely, the market is too unpredictable. Nobody that is serious about making money is trying to, play the day trading game. Smart people stick to the long-term plan. Smart people are essentially saying, hey, my goal is to make sure that I get as much money in the stock market because on average for the last 100 years, Jerry, this is for you. On average for the last 100 years, the stock market has returned roughly 10% every year. On average for the last 100 years, that has been the case. So it is a complete lie when people say the stock market is unpredictable. In the short term, it is absolutely unpredictable. In the short term, the stock market is controlled by emotions. In the long term, it is controlled by profit. And if you are smart, it's pretty easy. Now, we got a few questions that came in the chat. Sandra just asked, how do I get started? It's actually quite simple. Go to your iPhone, search for Benson AI. You'll see an icon that looks very similar to that. Download the app. It's actually quite simple. What's going to happen is you're going to download the app. You're going to say, Benson, I want you to invest, let's say, $50 a week. From there, Benson is then going to say, cool, say less. It's going to show you the top 10 stocks for the month of October. You're going to say, hey, I like these 3 or 4, and then you're done for the entire month. Benson is going to essentially invest every single week, all automatically for you. It's going to be paying attention to the news. It's going to be buying more of your best stocks. It is also going to be selling if you need it to sell. It will sell for you all automatically. What this does for most people is that it allows you to play the smartest possible game in investing. And the number one rule is do not allow your emotions to dictate reality. Every day, you're going to wake up and see the news saying, oh my God, the world's ending. Every day for the last 10 years, I've been investing. The world is not ending. Let me tell you that right now. And if you started investing 10 years ago, you'd be happy. And if you start investing today, you'll be happy in the next 10 years. That is quite simply the rule. Do not allow your emotions to get over what is happening in reality. Unfortunately, we are iPhone only. So yes. Sorry about that. But with that said, we do have something interesting coming out, which is we are actually going to be dropping a newsletter for all the Android/international people. Meaning, if you do not have an iPhone, you will be able to get access to Benson's top 10 stocks for the month. It is going to come out directly via email. You'll be able to sign up, subscribe, and from there, you'll still get access even if you don't have the AI doing all of the investing for you. Now, I will say, you'd be drastically better if you just got an old iPhone or an old iPad and allowed Benson to do it for you, because even when you're panicking, Benson is still going to be investing for you. But hey, if you want to do it the hard way, you can, just get the list. So we will be releasing that in the next few weeks. Now, with that said, I got sidetracked a bit. Thank you, Marissa, for allowing me to go over your portfolio out loud and publicly. That does take a lot of courage, especially because we got to be honest here. We got to be honest, which is that anybody talking about money naturally causes other people's antennas to rise up. So when we say, hey, it's important to talk about this stuff publicly, it's not just for the sake of like saying, yo, yes, Benson AI is crushing. It is also for the sake of letting other people know that there are real people out there using the app and it's working for them. So, Marissa, thank you for allowing me to go over your portfolio out loud and in front of other people. That does help other people get over the hump. So, really appreciate you. Now, I did get sidetracked a little bit with Marissa's portfolio, but I have to cover one more thing, which is that this government shutdown tells us something that is also quite interesting. You do need to connect it to a brokerage account, but of course, Benson will help you out with that, Taylor. Good question. What this reveals about sectors is also incredibly important. This government shutdown, as expected, defense and healthcare stocks are getting beat up. Now, if there are any defense or healthcare stocks that you have been burning to buy up because they've been too expensive in the past, this may be the time for you to double down there. And of course, if you're on Benson, don't worry, we are already doing that for you. In addition to that, tech and financial stocks have been still crushing it. Today was, of course, is a different day. Today is just one of those days where the market is down. But on average, since October 1, tech and financials have been absolutely crushing it. Now, I say all of this to say that the economy is not government spending. I'll say that again. The economy is not government spending. Government spending actually only accounts for a very small percentage of our entire economy. Most of our economy is controlled by corporate spending, not government spending. So I say that because it's very important to understand that the stock market is not the government. The stock market is capitalism, and capitalism is not controlled solely by government spending. And for people that are on Benson, this is exactly why our strategy works. We are not dependent on what happens over the next 2 or 3 weeks. We've seen this pattern 22 times since 1976. We don't care about what happens in 2 weeks. Bro, I am investing so that my children's children have enough money to live off of. I don't care about 2 weeks. In 6 months, I won't be able to describe what just happened this month to regular people. In 6 months from now, we are going to completely forget about this government shutdown. You know how I know that? Because if I were to ask all of you guys in the chat right now, when was the last government shutdown? Most people will say, I don't know. Unless you're some random nerd staring at charts all day, most people don't know that the last government shutdown was in 2018, 2019. What does that tell you? That tells you that this is not going to have a lasting impression on your well-being. I've been ruminating on this idea or this concept of your job is to focus on what you can control. You can't control the government and their spending right now. Your goal is to focus on yourself, how your money is doing. And as a result of that, you do not care about short-term noise. If you care about short-term noise, you have missed the bigger picture. Because the bigger picture is just that right now, smart people are scooping things up, being very serious about investing right now. Because, again, history tells us that within the next 12 months, we are going to see, on average, a 13% increase in the entire stock market. When I say entire stock market, I'm talking about the S&P 500. So, said otherwise, you as an investor now actually benefit from this government shutdown. And it's quite simple. You're going to see some stocks drop 5-10% randomly because people are panicking. And what is Benson going to do? Is going to go and scoop those stocks up. Because we've already been keeping track of which stocks we really like, which stocks we believe have crazy upside. So as those stocks drop, we're just scooping it all up. So yeah, this is no different from history. And again, just some high levels here. This is not even my personal opinion on this government shutdown. This is just looking at data. And again, the data says that on average, a government shutdown lasts 8 days. Your time horizon is not 8 days. So who really cares about 8 days? 8 days is essentially 0.00109% of 20 years. You don't care about 8 days. Let's not pretend. You only care because the news is telling you to care. That's a rounding error in most math equations. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Your goal right now is to not have emotions around this government shutdown, to not panic, and absolutely not wait for clarity. Wait for clarity is the dumbest thing you could be doing for yourself. Your goal is to lock in and focus on your process. And if you're on Benson, you're already covered. We are already doing that for you. Regardless of how you feel, Benson is investing for you every single week. So, yeah. It'll be interesting if this government shutdown goes past October 15th. But right now, very unlikely. So that is something there. Now, with that said, before jumping into headline 2, again, we go over 3 headlines over this entire show. Before jumping into headline 2, I want to take a few moments to answer some questions from the chat. By the way, as a reminder, everyone, if we get up to 100,000 likes, which is simple, all you got to do is tap the screen. It's completely free for you. If we get up to 100,000 likes, before I jump off, I will share the stock of the day. So with that said, everyone tap the screen. That's only if you want the stock of the day. If you don't want the stock of the day, so be it, do your thing. Just stay here and listen to other people's questions. But with that said, if you want the stock of the day, we're tapping the screen. Before jumping into headline number 2, are there any questions I can help answer while we are here? Anything of the sort. We've had people say, hey, can you review my portfolio? We've had people say, hey, what are your thoughts on this stock? X, Y, and Z. Into Mischief said, will I get an email when to sell? Into Mischief, are you on Benson? Into Mischief, are you on Benson? Jackie, good to see ya. Good to see you, Jackie. Janice, gotcha. Janice O, right? That's Odin. No, absolutely not. That is why your best bet is to jump on an iPad or an old iPhone. The newsletter is not going to tell you when to sell. The newsletter is giving you an overview of what are our top 10 stocks. The app would actually do the selling for you, so you don't have to worry about when to sell. But if you're, watching the news or getting the newsletter, that would just be you saying, hey, you're taking control. You just need the list. So I have Janice's portfolio up in front of me. So Janice, I am also going to do a quick little review for you as well. Janice, is it okay for me to say numbers out loud? Janice, you got to let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We do not take a percentage. Absolutely not. Your money is your money. Janice, is it okay? Janice just gave me the thumbs up that it is okay to share her numbers out loud. Janice. Let's see what we cooking with here. So, Janice, you have a portfolio that is nearly double the stock market right now. Since January, Janice, the stock market has jumped up roughly. Since January, the stock market has jumped up roughly 13%. Your portfolio, however, is up 23%. So you are nearly double the stock market since then. You are working on milestone number 2, which is great. Janice, you have done the hardest part. The hardest part, again, for most people is to get their first $1,000 in the market. Most people quit before they get $1,000 in the market. Janice, you have crossed that. You are now working on milestone number 2, which is getting $5,000 in the market. Today, your portfolio is at $3,799. So you are pretty much already there at $5,000. A few more $100, which you technically already have in cash, you will be there. Now, as for looking at your portfolio, I see a stock right now that is up 65%. I see another one that's up 14. I see another one that's up 33. I see another one that's up 28. There's another one that's up 54, 26, 94, 66, 82. Your best stock is up what percentage? Let me just you got quite a few, so let me just double check. Your best stock is absolutely the one that is up 92%. Great job. Great job, Janice. Benson recently cleared up a few small positions for you on the first, which were good. Very small positions. There is nothing alarming in your portfolio. Yeah, nothing alarming. And you have all three of my favorite stocks right now, which is good. My favorite stock in your portfolio is up 82%. Let's see, you do have one of my other favorites. It's up 30% for you. It got beat up today by like 5%. So you can almost guarantee that Benson is going to scoop up more of that asset for you because it did get beat up 5% today. But overall, Janice, crushing it. What I would say for you, Janice, if you have, if you want one piece of advice on how to improve your portfolio, the one thing I would say, Janice, is actually to increase your weekly budget. Right now, you have been sticking to, for again, very consistently, you've been sticking to it. So great job. Your weekly budget right now is $50. You could increase that to, let's say, $60 or so, or maybe $75. And that's because you have quite a bit of cash in your portfolio. Trinity, good to see you. Perfect, Janice. But with that said, your portfolio is in really good shape. Really good shape. Christian said, does Benson do dollar cost averaging? Yes, is the short answer, but we do our special version of it called enhanced dollar cost average. What that means is we don't blindly just buy the same stock every week. We analyze your entire portfolio and say, cool, of the 10 or 12 that this person owns, what is the best ones to buy based on this week, based on these deals, based on the upside that we see down the line. So yes, it is dollar cost averaging, but we have a nice little spin on it that is called enhanced dollar cost averaging. But yes, I hope that answers your question. Into Mischief said, I did great with one of your ideas, which was APP. Twice now. Great job. Great job. Into Mischief jumped into a stock that I shared months ago. I've been buying that stock up for about 3 years now. Last year it did 800%. Into Mischief is saying that, hey, he also bought that stock because of what I've shared here, and it's going incredibly well. So great job there. Jennifer Gill, good to see you. Now, with that said, we are at 46,000 likes, so I'm assuming y'all vibing with the content. So I appreciate it, y'all. We got to jump on to headline number 2, which is, despite this entire government shutdown, markets hit record highs while the government has been shut down. Day number 1, the S&P 500 hit 6,711, which it jumped up by 0.34%. Day number 2, it increased again to 6,715. Day number 3, the Dow leads, and the rally kind of broadens out beyond just tech. Meanwhile, at the same time that the stock market is hitting all-time highs, we are recognizing that 900,000 people have been furloughed. 700,000 people are working without pay. Again, stock market hitting all-time highs. And yet, we are watching 900,000 people get furloughed. I draw this comparison to really, really drive it home that the stock market is not controlled by the government. It is surely not controlled by government spending. And I know that the news is going to make you feel that the world is ending, the stock market is over, America is over. But if you are anybody that is over 25 years old, you have seen multiple crashes, recessions, fear, X, Y, and Z. If you are, 30, like me, you've seen, at least the '08 crash. If you're anything over 30, Oh, hold on. If you are anything over 30, you've also seen, the .com stuff, the .com bubble of the early 2000s. If you're over 40, you saw the recession of the late 80s. I say that because in every single time, people who are focused on the short term, oh my God, the world's ending. Smart people, people who have a little history behind them, all know that things pick up. It may feel painful in the short term, but things pick up. And more importantly, what you start to realize is that all these things are not perfectly connected. And in this case, the government shutdown is not at all connected to the stock market. In fact, they are inversely related. So the government shutdown, the stock market is hitting all-time highs. By end of week number 1 of the government shutdown, which was just a few days ago, the Dow and the S&P 500 jumped up basically 1%. We are also seeing other assets, aka gold and Bitcoin, hit all-time highs. The way I've been explaining this to friends and people that are on Benson, let's roll this back. I think when we're talking about the government, stock market, all this stuff starts to feel abstract. Let's keep this super simple here. Let's keep it super simple. Trinity said, "Can you please check your messages?" Trinity, if you let me know, this better be an emergency. Trinity, where did you send me? Where did you send me a message? Because you dropped like 4 messages. Whoa, Trinity, where did you send me a message? Girl, you can't be messaging me on TikTok. Let's see what this emergency is, Trinity. I'm going to my TikTok right now, Trinity. This better be an emergency. Hold on, let me see. Trinity, hold up. Okay, all right, Trinity. I see you. Trinity said, by the way, Trinity, this is TikTok here. The whole goal is that we over here talking out loud. You don't got to send me the private messages to answer your question. I think that's a question that other people would benefit from hearing. Trinity. So do not feel nervous about asking your question out loud. I think everyone here has questions about something. So Trinity, I am actually going to encourage you to ask that question out loud. Go ahead and ask, Trinity. I see your question here. But this is a good opportunity for other people. So Trinity, ask your question out loud because again, it helps. So don't be shy now, Trinity. Waiting on you to ask your question. Don't tell me Trinity jumped out of the chat now that I put her in the hot seat. This is absolutely a safe place. Lisa, thank you for affirming her there. I think Trinity got a little cold feet, y'all. It's okay. This is her first time here. I do appreciate... Trinity's here. There we go. Trinity asked a question. She sent me a DM originally, but again, I like answering questions in front of people. Trinity asked a question. She said, "Is there a way I can log in without your phone number?" Short answer, no. The reason, Trinity, is that your phone number is pretty much your unique identifier. Ain't nobody else got your phone number, so we say it's an easy way to make sure that, someone can't steal your email and, have access to your account. Your phone number is a really good identifier. You lost your other phone. Yeah, your phone number is needed right now, Trinity. But I want to say, Trinity, good job for asking the question out loud. I do appreciate that. But more importantly, Trinity, you just set the tone for other people to know that it is also safe to ask questions out loud. So kudos to you, Trinity. I do appreciate that. Now, let me jump back into headline number 2. Sorry if I missed it earlier, Trinity. Now, Trinity. Wait. Let's rewind a bit. Trinity, are you on Benson? If you are on Benson, I can help you get around it. I thought you were trying to sign up without a phone. Trinity, you're on Benson already? Why did you say that? Trinity, yes. So what I'm hearing, Trinity, is that, okay, cool. Let me slow down, y'all. I've been blabbering on for a cool minute. Trinity asked a very important question. Trinity, let me help you out here. Thank you everybody for letting me know that Trinity asked this stuff earlier. I just missed it, y'all. Sometimes I be so in my whole happy about talking about this data stuff that I missed the chat here. So Trinity, you got a new phone number. What you can do is actually quite simple. Sign up with your new phone number. Benson is going to recognize that you connect your Webull, the same Webull account, and then it's going to pull all of that information over to your new account for you all automatically. So Trinity, all you do, go to Benson, sign in with your new phone number. If your new phone number is still connected to the same Apple ID, you're good. You're totally fine. So Trinity, this is actually a lot easier for you than I thought. I thought you were trying to sign up for Benson without a phone. That was a different story. And Trinity, I will actually pull your portfolio up right now just because you may have not been able to look at things. And I'm also going to shoot you a text just in case anything I just said was, I know I'd be talking a lot or talking too quickly sometimes. In case anything I just said was too quick or not clear, Trinity, I do want to make sure that you have my number so that you can hit me up. This is what I'm here for. This is the fun part about work as well. So Trinity, I'm assuming Trinity, does your last name start with an M? Trinity, does your last name start with the M? Old phone number was 6178. Cool, Trinity. What I want you to do, Trinity, go sign up for Benson with your new phone number. You don't have to worry about a thing. Sign up for Benson with your new phone number. You still have an active account. Your portfolio is up 21% right now. Your best stock right now is up 48%. No, 53% is your best stock right now. Your second best stock is up 40%. You have absolutely nothing in your account that is concerning, and your portfolio is still doing very well, even though you have not been touching Benson. So great job there, Trinity. You are doing very well. Log into Benson with your new phone number. You won't be charged an extra anything. It will just automatically connect to your old stuff for you. You're going to get to see the new onboarding, but it is all good. So yeah, great job, Trinity. Thank you for slowing me down, everyone. That was a very important question for me to answer. Trinity, I'm also about to shoot you a text message so that you know you have my number. I don't want you to have to wait for these TikToks. I know I have not been on TikTok in like 2 weeks. So, Trinity, I'm also shooting you. Oh, wait, that's your last number. When you sign up with your new account, with your new phone number, I will automatically text you, Trinity. So do not worry there. Eric, I just shot you a text. So yes, I think some people are sort of shocked that I actually text everyone that downloads the app. I actually do. So yeah. Now, with that said, back to the headline here. The example that I've been using to explain, hey, the stock market is still hitting all-time highs, even though the government is getting beat up. The example that I've been using, you're very welcome, Trinity. The example I've been using is a restaurant. Bear with me, y'all. It'll be a lot more simple. And I have to use analogies here because I think sometimes when we look at, macroeconomics, government, tariffs, all this stuff, it's way too complicated. Most of this stuff doesn't impact our day-to-day lives. However, if you break it down in a simple way, it's so much easier for us to wrap our minds around what is actually happening. And one of those things that is actually happening right now, and I just want you to follow me along in this picture here. It's a restaurant right now. It's summertime and the AC breaks. Staff is sweating. Customers are uncomfortable because it is summertime. We are in this hot restaurant. But guess what? People are still ordering food. The kitchen is still working. money is still exchanging hands. That is exactly what is happening right now. The AC broke down, is just our government. The restaurant is still functioning. People don't not get hungry just because the AC ain't working. People are not going to say, hey, I don't want to go to work because my job don't got no AC. No, you care about your money. You still going to work. The restaurant is like, yo, we still got to feed people. Again, the government shutdown feels apocalyptic when you look at the news. But in real life, has anything about your life actually changed because of this government shutdown? Like, unless you're one of the 900,000 people, most of the time, the answer is no. So again, to put all of this into scale, the United States economy is worth roughly $30 trillion with a T, $30 trillion. Government workers during that time period account for roughly $5 to $6 billion. The government being shut down accounts for roughly $5 to $6 billion of that. That is 0.02% of the economy and its spending. That is why this government shutdown has actually not impacted you yet. Now, of course, if a government shutdown goes on for 30, 60, 90, 100 days, we're talking about different stuff. But if you look at the news right now, people are like, oh my God, the world's ending, the government is shut down, everything's going to the pooper. It's not actually. In the short term, a government shutdown is not going to impact most people. Again, it's going to impact roughly 0.2% of the economy. And that is data there. That is facts. That is the part where, like, again, I have to take my personal opinion out of this because, frankly, I am upset at both Democrats and Republicans for allowing this government to shut down to happen. But when I take my emotions out of it and just say, hey, what does the data tell me? The data tells me that, again, government spending accounts for roughly 0.02% of the entire economy right now. And that is exactly why the stock market is still hitting all-time highs, despite everything that the news is telling you right now. This is what I mean when I say the government is not the economy. Again, the economy is worth $30 trillion. Right now, government spending is accounting for $5 to $6 billion. No extra bonus there, Christina, but nice try. I like people who try to negotiate, but no. Markets are not cold or uncaring because they're hitting all-time highs. The reality is just that the government spending does not impact private markets in the way that most people believe. The government is not the person going out to buy all the software that is running the economy. The government is not the one that is spending money on AI chips in the way that people like to believe. No, I'm not affiliated with Trade GPT. I'm the CEO of Benson AI, Christina. But this thing just helps you put it into perspective around scale. Again, the $5 or $6 billion that is on pause right now accounts for 0.02% of the entire economy. And this is, again, why I get very excited about how we are attacking this right now. One with Benson is just that we are still automatically diversifying across different industries. The defense contractors are getting beat up right now by the political nonsense. And then on the flip side, tech is enjoying it, having a good old time right now. And what that means is that if you're on Benson, the only thing you need to understand right now is that you've been preparing for this exact moment. You've been preparing for the moments where other people panic, other people sit on the sidelines, other people, oh my God, the world's ending. You've been preparing for that. You've been building up your positions, and now you're going to recognize you're going to see some flash sales on certain stocks. And then Benson is going to go and scoop up those stocks while they're on a flash sale. Again, these headlines don't impact you. The headlines impact your emotions, but that's about it. Keisha, good to see you. I will review yours during the next break. We're at 78,000 likes, so I'm guessing we are definitely going to hit that 100,000. And again, we get to 100,000. I'm sharing the stock of the day. Keisha is the next person whose portfolio I will review. So let me just write this down. Pam said we are at 86,000. I see 79, but either way, we very close. Now, with that said, I like to always say, what do I actually feel about all of this? When we're talking about, hey, the stock market is hitting all-time highs, and yet people are panicking, acting as if the world is going to end. My personal opinion with all of this stuff is that, honestly, the headlines are wrong. CNN, Fox, all these news channels, they make money because you panic. And when you panic, you come back and try to look for some solution in their words. They got it wrong. And if you're following them, you're wrong. My opinion right now is that the stock market is getting it perfectly right, which is, hey, you don't panic because the government is shutting down. Markets are being very pragmatic and realistic about the scale here. Again, the government accounts for 0.02% of that spending. AI investments, purchases have not stopped at all. Companies are still signing up to buy more AMD chips, more NVIDIA chips. None of that has stopped because our politicians can't be reasonable people right now. Consumer spending is still hitting all-time highs. Despite all the stuff you see on the news, people are still going out to their Chipotles. People are still going out to shop. People are still taking vacations. My single prediction here is that we are still about to see the market hit all-time highs before we see another pullback. I think we will see these short-term fluctuations, but we are still about to be preparing for all-time highs. And I am betting that the news, CNN, all these other people are just wrong. Again, their job is to make you panic. My job here is to make as much money as possible. So I don't pay attention to the people shouting to the top of their lungs, oh my God, the world's ending. Those people sort of look crazy to me, if I'm being honest. And I think Stephanie just dropped a really important point. Legacy networks are not transparent. I have never heard anyone say, yes, the news taught me how to be smart about my money. The news taught me how to think critically about what's happening in the world. I can't say that I have ever heard anyone say that. My second prediction on this government shutdown is just that a pullback in the stock market is going to happen only if, and this is where I also have to be pragmatic here. A pullback in the market is going to happen. This is my prediction here. A pullback in the market is only going to happen if this government shutdown lasts for more than 21 days. If that happens, that is where I'm saying, hey, we're going to see a pullback. But again, what does that mean? Do I really care about a pullback? No. I'm just saying I have to say, hey, if this goes on longer than 21 days, that's where I'm saying, cool. That's the moment where we're going to see a nice correction. But what do smart people do during a correction? Same as always. They buy more of their best stocks. Plain and simple. And again, if you're on Benson, you already have that handle. Now another Sky, I wish I could pin that comment. Sky just said, either way, I'm eating green or red. Facts, Sky. Either way, green or red, I'm still eating. If it's a green day, I'm enjoying the highs. If it's a red day, I'm going to go scoop up more. It's the same thing as going grocery shopping or shopping for anything. If your favorite items are on sale and they're like 50% off, you're like, yo, I thought I could only buy one, but now I could afford two for the exact same price. Why wouldn't I buy more? It's the same thing. Green or red, you're still eating. Your goal is to say the bigger picture here is for you to focus on what is happening over the next 5, 10 years. That is where real money is made. If you're worried about the next 8 days, you've lost. You're probably worried about the next 8 days because you're listening to the news on how to make money. It just doesn't work that way. Now, with all of this said, I am focused on a few things right now. The safe sectors are actually underperforming, the risky ones. In the past, smart people used to say, oh my God, defense contractors are the best places to be being safe. Right now, those defense contractors are getting screwed. And that's because the government is trying to right size all of their spending. And on the flip side, tech historically has been where people panic and say, oh my God, it's too risky. And guess who's hitting all-time highs? You don't have to guess. I just told you it's tech. So what does this mean? The playbook that the world tells you right now is just completely wrong. And this is like the beautiful thing about all of this data that we have access to when we're using AI. And it's because sometimes the narrative is different from reality. When you look at the data, you start to see a very different picture. The best companies are the ones that, 2 years ago, everybody said was the scary stuff. Those are the companies that are, despite inflation, doing well, despite a government shutdown, doing well, despite Trump and all of his, stuff with everyone, doing well. The companies that are seeming almost bulletproof right now are the same companies that 2-3 years ago, everyone said was too risky. And then on the flip side, all those safe companies, panicking right now, hitting the floor. This is what I mean when I say sometimes you have to turn off the noise from the outside and focus on the bigger picture. And I cannot underscore that enough. Number 2, right now, the IPO market's completely frozen. Of course, there can be no IPOs if the government is shut down. So companies that want to go public, they're in a waiting game right now. But what does this mean? When this shutdown actually ends, we are going to see a flood of IPOs hit the markets again. We were watching over the last few months, a lot of IPOs hit all at once. Figma IPO'd, Circle IPO'd, CoreWeave IPO'd. Right now, all IPOs are at a pause, which is fine. And to be fair, smart people are not really caring about IPOs, but that is just something to note. That while a government shutdown is happening, you are not allowed or we cannot get out any IPOs. But the third and most exciting thing about all of this right now for me is that, again, the Fed rate cut is now guaranteed. And it's guaranteed because the Feds, it would not be smart to keep interest rates the same given all of this uncertainty. Uncertainty means that the Federal Reserve has to be smart about what risk they are willing to put on regular people. And again, connecting the dots here, lower interest rates means the stock market goes up, plain and simple. Interest rates go down, stock market goes up. And right now, a 25 basis point cut is nearly guaranteed for October 29th, meaning in less than 2 weeks, you could expect that there is going to be an interest rate cut. I'm preparing for that absolutely now. What that means, again, my stock market, my stock portfolio, up and to the right. And all that means for me is just that I got to be patient. Stick to the plan. But again, this is the fun part about investing. You start to realize that, being calm in the midst of all this chaos around you is what allows you to do well. And we're not able to be calm just because, we have a crystal orb or anything. No. We're able to be calm is because you look at the data and again, you see for all of the last 22 government shutdowns since 1976, in every single case, the market has recovered and continued to hit highs. This is why our strategy does not change based on weekly headlines. Pam, I got you right after Keisha. 1 second, let me just write your name down. Pam, as you can see, I don't sound as nasally and sick. So again, your strategy should not be changing based on what's happening with the government. The numbers are quite simple. 0.3% increase during a government shutdown and a 13% increase 12 months after a government shutdown. Who are those people that get that 13% bump? People who stayed invested in the stock market. The people who missed out are the people who were waiting for clarity, hoping that the world was going to be a brighter place tomorrow. Yeah, just doesn't make sense. And for those people who are trying to wrap their heads around what's happening, I have one simple rule. If you are panicking, go outside, call a friend, go touch grass. The news, again, is not the place you go to when you start to feel nervous. The news is only going to make you more anxious. Plain and simple. Now, before jumping into headline 3, there are just a few small things that I think nobody is really connecting, which makes me even more excited here. September of 2025, the stock market jumped up 3.5%. Why is that so exciting? That has not happened since 2010. Markets usually pull back in September. And instead, this September, the stock market jumped up 3.5%. That's the strongest September since 2010. I was in 10th grade in 2010, y'all. Since I was in high school, this past September, just a few days ago, was the best September since 2010. This government shutdown told everybody who is aggressive about the stock market, ignore all the seasonality. Ignore all the noise. Focus on the data, because the data is saying the stock market is what you should be looking at. We are again at all-time highs, but the government has shut down. Defense and healthcare stocks are down, but tech, financials, and consumers are crushing it. What this is telling us in one simple sentence is that the economy is bigger than the federal government. Our economy is, again, $30 trillion. If I am talking to my best friend right now, I am telling you, as my best friend, do not sit on the sidelines. Do not sit on the sidelines right now. When this government shutdown is over, again, since 1976, every single time this has happened, when this government shutdown is over, you are going to see at least a 13% jump in the market within the next 12 months. That has happened every single time. Do not sit on these sidelines right now. That is one of the biggest things that you could be doing for yourself. This is not the time to be sitting on crazy cash. This is the time to be smart and be investing. Now, with that said, we got a few moments for a break before jumping into headline number 3. Keisha asked me to review her portfolio. Keisha, gotcha. Keisha, tell me the last 4 digits of your phone number, please, so I can pull up your portfolio, and then after Keisha, I can do Pam. Keisha, last 4 digits of your phone number, please. We are at 97,000 likes, y'all. We are definitely hitting. We definitely hitting 100. We at 98,000 likes, y'all. I will absolutely share my stock of the day. 85.35, 85.35. And while I pull up Keisha's account, for those that don't know who I am, what are we doing here? My name is Philip Aubrey, and I am the CEO of Benson AI. This is quite literally episode 1 for my YouTube channel. No joke. This is actually being recorded also for YouTube. But this is episode 1 of what I am calling the Benson Report, where we go over what's happening in the market, how this impacts you, and how we are making money off of this. It's meant to be a safe place where we can answer We can ask questions out loud. I will answer them out loud. And a little context about why I do this. Again, I am the CEO of Benson AI, where we use AI to do all of your investing for you. We do the research, the buying, the selling, the monitoring, the reviews, all of it, all automatically. And you just sit back, relax, and let us do our job. And this Benson Report is just a glimpse at the amount of data and insight that we have about what's happening in the markets right now. So it is a good time, a really good time. Cool. Keisha, got your portfolio up in front of me. Keisha, let's see. A good streak. Your cash right now, Keisha, does not cover your weekly budget. And what that tells me, Keisha, is that one clear insight that I get from this is that either you've done most of your investing already this week, or that you're recurring. Oh, Keisha, you're already ahead of me. Keisha just said that she added 200 today. I don't get to see that just yet. It will display, likely for me in 24 hours. Keisha, let's see. Are there any red flags for your portfolio? There is. Okay. You got a 56% return to 57. You got my favorites, of course. There's one stock I would get rid of out of your portfolio. Not because it is bad, but because you have some other ones that are drastically better. So Keisha, what I am going to do for you today is I am going to do a mini cleanup. I'm going to have Benson go over your portfolio and sell one specific stock that I think is just probably not worth for you to have anymore, given that you have some other heavy hitters. So Keisha, tomorrow morning, you are going to notice that Benson is going to sell a few stocks for you. One, maybe two. No, one. I am very glad, Keisha, that you got the stock that starts with a P. And I say that because that stock is a full share. You have to buy like $80 or $90 of it. Most people are not able to buy that one. So, otherwise, Keisha, things are solid for your portfolio. My favorite stock, the one that starts with don't say it out loud, please, starts with a C. Benson is going to scoop up more of that for you on Friday. But it's probably one stock that I would clear up just because it's just probably not worth for you holding anymore. So that's it for your side, Keisha. Keisha, a smart thing to do so that you don't have to add cash is set up a recurring deposit if you don't already have that. But y'all do a mini cleanup for you tomorrow. And if you added 200, I would say increase your weekly budget a little bit. But otherwise, Keisha, solid. Very solid. I'll do a mini cleanup for you tomorrow, though. Pam G is up next. Let me speed through these so that I can make sure to get to headline 3. And with that said, we are at 100,000 likes, so I will absolutely be sharing the stock of the day. The stock of the day. I will absolutely be sharing, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, Kimberly Draft said, perfect, Keisha. Kimberly Draft said, I need a cleanup too. No, you don't, Kimberly. I have your portfolio up in front of me. There is nothing that says that you need a cleanup, Kimberly. You just shouting to the top of your lungs. There is nothing in here that says you need a cleanup. Your cleanup happened already. So no. Nice try though, Kimberly. But it's all love. Kimberly, your portfolio is at 30%. You're working on milestone number 2. You're at 3,400. You have healthy cash balance. And you have a good weekly budget, Kimberly. You are solid. Leave me alone. You don't need no cleanup. Stop it. Let me pull up Pam G. Hold on. Pam. Got your portfolio up in front of me. It is loading, Pam. Let me check yours. Miss Yvonne, I will do yours next. And then I'm jumping back into headline 3, y'all. Headline 3 after I do Miss Yvonne. So Pam G, 23 weeks straight, no breaks, Pam. Good job. 23 weeks, no breaks. Pam G, your portfolio is at 70 return, 70%. 70%. I have to say the numbers because I know I got a little speech impediment, but your portfolio is at 70%. 70%, which is just insane. You are getting close to nearly doubling your entire portfolio, Pam. Your account value as of today is at $36,000, meaning you are also working on that $50,000 milestone. Pam, this is crazy. I feel like we. By the way, can y'all see Kane behind me over there? I don't know if y'all can see him. I don't know if TikTok kind of cuts my screen a bit. But can y'all see that big old black dog right there? Right there. But if you can't, he's right there just staring at the screen. Pam, this is crazy because I just remember our first conversations. And of course, at that time, you were like, I haven't done too much investing. I'm not too sure about it. I want to start small, start comfortably. And today, you're at $36,000 in essentially 10 months. So, Pam, great job. Pam, for you, however, your cash balance is low right now. Do not break your streak. Don't break your streak, meaning make sure that you have your recurring deposits set up. I know that you do, maybe a shutdown. Yes, just make sure that your recurring deposit is still there because your cash balance says that you either, cool. Pam just said Benson already invested for this week. That's why. Pam, you already know that you have some heavy hitters. I won't bore you with the details here, Pam, but one of your stocks is 121%. Another one is at 98. Another one is at 85. Your best stock, which also happens to be your largest position, Pam, you are actually the first person that I've seen in Benson that has hit this milestone. So I actually have to rewind a bit. Pam, this is actually the first milestone that this is like the first time I am doing this on live, at least. I've seen this, for people last year, but for this year, you are the first person whose portfolio I'm reviewing and I'm seeing this live. So, starting out, Pam, this is absolutely phenomenal. Your largest position is also your best position with Benson. And Stephanie, you already knew it was coming. And Pam, you have officially tripled your money in your best and largest position. I will say that again, Pam, because Stephanie already knew it was coming. She saw me look at the buttons over here. Pam, you have tripled your money in your best and largest position. Your returns on your number one stock is 213%, meaning you have tripled your money in this single stock alone. Single stock alone. You have tripled. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Of course, guy that dropped that message, lightening the world. Of course, it is always smart to be cautious and smart about your allocation. We handle that for you as well. But Pam, you have tripled your money in your best and largest position. Great job, Pam. You are at 213% for your largest position. Meaning, even if the stock market fell 20%, man, you have still done better than what most people do over the course of 10 years. So, Pam, good job. Good job. Now, let me look at the rest of your portfolio just to see, is there anything alarming? Nothing alarming. I don't see anything that is, really down that would say, oh my God, panic here. I see a negative 11% return on a very small position, so not big of a deal. So Pam, stick to your plan. And Lightning the World said, it's a bull market and the winter is coming, and I cannot wait for winter because when winter comes, I am doubling down. So you are speaking to somebody who agrees with you as well. But when that winter comes, baby, I am doubling down. So great job, Pam. Last one I have is Miss Seegers before I jump back into headline number 3. Give the final scoop, and then go over the stock of the day. So let me just see. Miss Yvonne, pulling up your account now. So let's see what is going on with yours. Void Echo just asked a really important question. Void Echo said, do we ever take profit? I want to answer that because that is where we do something very unconventional. Taking profit is like, oh, I need to take some money off the table. It actually comes from the casino. It's actually a gambling term, Void Echo. And taking profit essentially means, hey, if a stock goes up X percentage, take some money off the table. That strategy works very well. That rule is important when you have some millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market. If you got anything less than $200,000-$300,000 in the market, that's quite literally irrelevant for you. And that's not an attack on anybody, but what that says is that your goal when you are building your portfolio is to accumulate. Buy more of your best performing stocks. And there's this thing that people have is like, oh my God, I'm winning. I'm up 20%. Pam is up 200% in that stock. She would have been silly to get all excited about 20% when that stock is up 200% now. Taking profit would have meant that she's going to take half of her shares out of that asset, which has now tripled for her. When you look at data, the data says that most people do not benefit from taking profit. Your goal is to acquire as many shares of the best performing stocks as possible. ATN just said that I made that mistake with AMD. Void Echo said, why not rinse and repeat? Because when you're rinsing and repeating, you are not allowing compound interest to work in your favor. Again, compound interest is that eighth wonder of the world, which is just that the more assets you have, the longer they're working for you, the more that those snowball effects actually happen. That does not happen when you start taking money off the table. If you want compounding interest and growth, you're allowing your money to grow for you as long as you possibly can. And the only thing from there is just that you have to be comfortable saying, hey, I'm going to let my money sit for 5, 10 years or whatever that time frame is. But no, our strategy does not mean that we take money off the table. If a stock is doing well, why am I going to handicap that stock? If I got $100,000 in that stock and it is doing very well and I still believe that it has more upside, why would I take $25,000 off? The best thing I can do is say, keep that $25,000, keep growing, keep sticking to the plan. It's the exact opposite of your intuition. Your intuition says, oh, I can only win so much. That is the way losers attack this game. ATN just said a perfect example. ATN just said, I bought AMD at $2. I bought at $2 and sold at $20. Do you know what AMD is at today? If you don't know what AMD is at today, let me explain that for you. I will pull the live number of that. AMD is at $211. AMD is at $211. What ATN just said is I bought AMD at $20. I got very happy and I sold it at $20. Which, at that time, $20 felt great. But ATN would be a lot happier if he held on to it and he held on to it until today. And today is at $211. And Dak Prescott said, until a black swan event wipes out years of gains. Now, let's be clear. Recessions are your friends. Recessions, aka this black swan event, Dak Prescott said, a recession allows you to buy more of your best stocks. That doesn't mean you are silly about, the fact that a recession will come. We know a recession will come, Dak Prescott. We know that a recession will come. And in fact, we are waiting on a recession to come, because when a recession comes, everything goes on sale. So at one point in time, you're going to be able to buy that stock for $100. And then that black swan event that you're referring to is going to come around and that stock is going to be on sale for $80. And then you're going to be able to buy even more. So even with that logic, you do not try to pull out money just because you think a recession is coming. You're missing the bigger picture. Your goal is to have 100,000 shares of these assets. Japan is very different. Japan is nowhere near the size of the United States economy. We cannot compare ourselves to Japan. Japan is less than a tenth of the population. They do not run the financial infrastructure of the entire world. Japan has not been relevant for the last 100 years on the global economy. We cannot compare ourselves to Japan. That is like me comparing myself to essentially, what is his name? Usain Bolt. Bro, we run at different leagues. I'm struggling at a 10-minute mile. Usain Bolt is running a whole different ball game. He is one of the fastest runners on earth. Just because we both run does not mean that we are the same. What you are referring to, Dak Prescott, is the meltdown of the last of another giant from 200, 300, 400 years ago. Yes, sure. At some point in time, the U.S. will not be number one in the world. But Japan was running stuff for a few hundred years. So let's also talk about how long they control things. So Dak Prescott, it sounds like you are fixed to the idea of extreme caution. You can take extreme caution. That is solely up to you. But what I can say is that nobody smart, nobody who is focused on long term is taking profits. Let's not normalize taking profits. That is what losers and gamblers do. When you look at Warren Buffett, his best stocks, quite literally, he's held for 20 years. What did he do over those 20 years? He acquired more every single time they dropped. So I don't know where you get the logic of let's normalize taking profit. That is what losers do. When you look at the wealthiest people on earth, they hold their stocks, they buy more, and they hold on to them for 20 years. Nobody takes profit except the little gamblers that are playing around in these meme coins. That's just not true. And look at the data. This is not an opinion. Go and look at the data. But with that said, Miss Yvonne, let me look at your portfolio just to check for you if there's anything that needs to be cleaned up. Yes, Yvonne, there's nothing need to be cleaned up for you. Portfolio is at 31% right now. You are at milestone number 3. Your portfolio is at nearly $10,000. Miss Yvonne, do you even have anything negative in your portfolio? Miss Yvonne, you have absolutely nothing. Okay, one. You have one stock that is down 4%, which is still very small for your portfolio as well. But Miss Yvonne, there is nothing that you need to take out or clean up from your portfolio. Things look very healthy. You even have, and of course, you have a solid position in the S&P 500 as well. So you're well diversified. You have some heavy hitters. You have some small and mid cap exposure. Sivan, I don't know. There's nothing that you can really ask for out of more out of your portfolio. Yeah, nothing more that I would ask for out of your portfolio. HBA just said something that again is spot on. One of Warren Buffett's largest positions, his best two positions in history have been Coca-Cola and Apple. Warren Buffett has also been acquiring Coca-Cola for over 40 years. Every single time it dropped, he bought more. This week, Coca-Cola paid Warren Buffett $215 million in dividends. So when people are talking about taking profits, that's them being emotional about the stock market. You start to take profit when, you're closer to retirement. You're like, yo, I need to live off my money now. But if you're in the accumulation stage of life, no smart person is ever selling stocks. You borrow against them. Poor people who are trying to gamble and get rich quickly are like, oh, I need to sell because, it's always going to be bad. No, buddy, it's not. It's actually not. Dak Prescott said cherry picking data. Dak Prescott, let me take a rewind here. Dak. When your opinion is grounded in empirical data, I will be happy to go back and forth with you over this. You are allowed to have your opinion, do what you want. But what I can say, Dak Prescott, is that the data does not support your opinion. And I am talking about data, and then you're responding back with opinions, which are different. But again, you're allowed to have an opinion, but I'm also allowed to say that your opinion is not supported by data. So yeah. But with that said, headline number 3, y'all. We are well beyond. We are well beyond 100,000 likes. So I am definitely sharing my stock of the day. Mulana said, can I open 2 separate accounts for my grandchildren? Mulana, you are doing what rich people do. If you open up a custodial account for your grandchildren, you're giving them one of the biggest head starts that you could possibly ever give someone, which is to get them started before they even know that they're playing the game. Mulana, it is called a custodial account. You want to open up a custodial account. Dak Prescott, absolutely not. Boeing. But I do like when people guess what the stock of the day is. But no, it's not. It is absolutely not. Boeing. Mulana, absolutely open up a custodial account for your grandchildren. Get them going. It is one of the biggest, most beautiful things that you could possibly do for your grandchildren. Tui, good guess. Tui actually got it right. But yeah, stock of the day is AppLovin. I will tell you why after this. Headline number 3, the data blackout that investors are not actually ready for. So facts only, not opinions here. I do have strong opinions, but right now we're talking about data, facts only right now. The BLS did not release September jobs report on Friday. They won't release these job reports until the shutdown actually ends. What that means is that there is no weekly unemployment claims that are coming through. There's no inflation reports that are being shared right now. The only data that we are able to lean on right now is actually corporate data. Perfect example. ADP, sorry, the payment processor for companies and payroll. ADP showed that private sector lost 32,000 jobs. And as a result, what this is telling us is that, hey, we don't have the government to give us the data, so we have to use proxies, aka corporations to actually explain all this stuff to us. What this means is just that feds, investors, and economists are all operating blind. And the way that I like to think about this is that people are going to respond to this very differently. So I want you to actually listen and hear me clearly when I say this. Let's imagine that you are trying to lose weight, but you just woke up and realized that the scale that you use in your bathroom every single day is actually broken. Question: what do? Do you stop going to the gym? Do you stop eating healthy? Do you panic because you cannot see your exact weight loss? No. You keep doing exactly what worked, because eventually that scale will get fixed and all the data will be clear. What we are seeing right now is that the economy is operating blind. We are not leaning on, we don't have a scale to measure the progress of the entire economy. Now, some people are going to be like, oh my God, the world's ending. I got to stop everything. And they're going to stop eating healthy. They're going to stop going to the gym. They're going to panic. And smart people are going to say, yo, I'll get another scale eventually. Let me stick to what's been working. And what's been working is having a long-term approach with the market. This shutdown is causing major delays in statistics, but the underlying economy is still moving. Companies are still profitable. AI is still transforming entire industries. And your dollar cost average strategy allows you to continue buying quality companies despite what is happening on the news. Again, this is why we stick to the long-term big picture here. A data blackout is actually, and this is like my little, I guess, controversial opinion. A data blackout is actually good for markets in the short term. And it's good because, well, at least for us in the short term. And it's good because no matter what, we know that red or green, we are still buying. So even if there are red days because people are panicking, oh my God, the scales are not working. Bro, I don't care. I'm going to go scoop it up. I was already committed to the process of, losing weight, or in our case, building our wealth. It doesn't matter. Stick to the plan. And more importantly, when the government gets shut back, when the government is opened up again, you are going to see that the Fed is just like, yo, it's been so crazy. We have to cut interest rates. Dak just said the first thing that I agree with him about. Dak just said the White House is definitely rigging the game. I'll stop right there. He said the White House is rigging the game. And I agree, but I have a little second take on that. The game has always been rigged. It is just the fact that you and all of us did not know the rules. But the game has always been rigged. It has always favored people who are able to focus on the long term. If you are concerned with what is happening in the next 8 days, you cannot play the game. And in fact, you lose, because in the next 8 days, you're going to panic, and they're just going to take all of that panic, buy assets while they're cheap, and wait till it goes up, because the game has been rigged for people who can focus on the long term. It's not this White House is rigging the game. The game has always been rigged. But the thing is just that you and most people did not know the rules. And I say you, I'm not talking about you, Dak Prescott. I'm not talking about you specifically when I say that. But I'm saying we, as all of us, did not know the rules. So of course it felt like it was rigged. But now we know the rules. It's actually quite simple. Buy great assets, hold on to them for as long as possible. That's it. When you say it that simply, you're like, oh my God, that's it? Man, why have I not been doing this my entire life? Again, you didn't know the rules. It's okay. That's why we're here. We know the rules now. The rules are stick to the bigger plan, stick to the long term. In the short term, it's always painful. I say this to like all of my boys, but no matter what, life is going to be hard. Whichever route you choose, life is going to be hard. If you want to be a bodybuilder, life is going to be hard because you're going to have to wake up early. You're going to have to go to the gym. You're going to have to say no to sweets. You're going to have to go to sleep early. It's going to be hard. If you decide to not care about your health at all, you're going to get 60. You're going to have health issues. You're going to be struggling to walk. Life is going to be hard. But no matter what, you have to pick which hard you want. I want the heart of discipline because what that allows me to do is enjoy the rest of this life. And the heart of discipline is saying you stick to your plan. It has always been rigged. It's just that you didn't know the rules. But now that you know the rules, the rigging works in your favor. It's actually that simple. A data blackout is good for the short term, mainly because it allows everyone who understands the rule to be like, oh crap, stuff is on sale. Let me stick to the plan. Buy more. I know how this game goes. When the Fed is operating in uncertainty, they have to cut interest rates. Again, the stock market goes up. I benefit again. Not only did I get to buy at a discount, but I can almost guarantee, well, the market is almost guaranteeing that by the end of this month, we're going to see another interest rate cut. The markets get the rate cut without having to even show us what's happening in the job market, AKA markets go up. If the shutdown ends before October 15th, that's what I'm praying for. I really do hope the shutdown ends before October 15th. Feds cut interest rates, stock market goes up. Now, again, if the shutdown extends past the 21st or 22nd of October, stuff is going to be painful. It's okay. I'm still buying. We stick to the plan, but I'm just letting you know it will be painful if it extends past the 22nd of October. But uncertainty in the short term is actually a benefit. And when I think about this and how all of this connects to my portfolio, our outlook on investing, it's quite simple. You can boil this down to 3 simple points. Market movement is equal to narrative, not data. Markets are being hit with less information, and yet things are going well. Government data is a lagging indicator anyway. When you were talking about jobs report, that's looking at what happened 30 days ago. That's not looking at now or the future. Corporate earnings plus Fed policy direction is what actually allows the market to continue going. Second point is that corporate earnings just became even more important. Again, because we are not able to lean on the government to give us the truth about what's happening in the economy, we have to lean on what corporations are saying. ADP as an example. We're flying blind with macro data, so we have to focus our attention on what is clear data out there. And plain and simple, these corporations still have to report their earnings. They still have to tell us how things have been going, and more importantly, they still have to give us insight on what they think is going to happen over the next 30, 60, 90 days, aka the next quarter. What that tells us is that we are going to be leaning more on what the CEOs are saying about business, because the CEOs are going to let us know how spending is actually happening. And the CEOs that we are invested in are all of them right now are talking about one simple thing, how people are lining up to buy more AI-related things. I'll say that again. The CEOs are all giving us a clear indicator of what's happening. Companies and countries are all lining up around the corner to buy all of this stuff related to AI. aka tech for us with Benson, booming, crushing it. When I was talking about Pam being up 200% with that stock, that was a tech stock. She's up 200% in the last 10 months off of that stock. Tripled her money. Tech. Now, the last thing, which I would say is more on the advanced side, is that alternative data is now at a premium. Because we've knocked off government data right now, if you are able to find alternative data, you have a real edge. ADP, aka payroll data, credit card spending, shipping volume, all of that stuff, by the way, we get access to with Benson. We have access to over 100 different sources of private alternative data that gives us insight on what is happening in the market. One easy example that I like to kind of go back to, I got really into investing about 2011 was when I got into investing. What I did at that point in time, I wrote a paper on how in the future we were going to be finding our edge with investing by looking at internet traffic. A fun fact, and this is not the stock of the day. This is not even a stock that has been on our top 10 in the last 3 months. But one of our stocks, I'll give this away as a complete freebie. One of our stocks on Benson is a company called On Running. ON is the ticker. One of our alternative pieces of data sets that we tend to look at is actually how many people are hitting the checkout page for On shoes. Meaning, how many people every single day over the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days are going to go buy more shoes? You type in the URL, we're able to analyze. Thank you, Void Echo. We're able to analyze the number of times people have made it to the checkout page. The checkout page is a proxy for how often or how frequently or how many shoes people are buying. That is what I mean when I say alternative data. And with Benson, we have at least 100 of those unique, random alternative data sets that most people are just not privy to. And that's the exciting thing about using this whole AI investing process. It is not that, we're out there counting the number of FedEx trucks, but there's a technology spin on how you can figure out how many FedEx trucks are hitting the markets, delivering iPhones, X, Y, and Z. All of these things can be backed up with data, not opinions. And it's exciting. It's really exciting. But the third point about all of this stuff right now is just that alternative data is now at a premium because the government is now reporting on what actually happened. And I think here's what everyone needs to understand as we kind of close things out. I want to ask you a very clear question. And I want you to just yell out your gut reaction or answer it in your head. It doesn't matter. Type it in the chat. I really don't care. How does a 3.8% unemployment rate versus a 4.1 unemployment rate impact you personally? I'll say it again. How 3.8, 4.1, the unemployment rate, how does that impact you personally? It wasn't a trick question. It doesn't impact you personally. These are numbers that economists struggle over. It doesn't mean anything to you. That was a number that you just heard me say. And you're like, man, what does this really mean for me? And some people are really sitting there thinking, what does that really mean? Bro, it doesn't. It doesn't impact you. But yet, we have all been quibbling over this single piece of data. And Christina just asked a point. She said, until I lose my job. I love that response, Christina, because that allows you to flip it on its head. If 4.1% of the economy is unemployed, that means 96% of the economy is employed. 96% is the opposite of 4.1. You add those two together, that equal 100%. So yes, if you are part of the 4.1%, of course that impacts you. But mostly, you're going to be a part of the 96%. Meaning for most people, 96% of people, that number means nothing. It is noise. It is something that we are watching very rich billionaires argue over, but frankly, it doesn't impact you. It doesn't impact you. I say that because as you pay attention to the news over the next weeks or so or whatnot, I want you to take a step back and say, great, they're telling me this, but what does this mean for me? Has this changed my life? Most of the time, the answer is no. If that answer is no, I want you to remember one single thing. Your job right now is to focus on what you can control. And what you can control is actually simple. You can control everything around what you do and how you behave during this time. And if you understand that, you are locked in this process of saying, yo, I got to get mine. I got to lock in. I got to build wealth. I have to be serious about this. Because they're telling me all this stuff that actually I just realized don't mean a dang thing for me. Bro, I don't know what a 3.8 unemployment rate is versus a 4.1. What does that mean for me? It doesn't impact you. Oh, interest rates are up. Yeah, unless you're trying to buy a house right now or, you know, groceries. That actually does impact us. So I won't go that far. But, for the most part, your life ain't changed too much. And if that's the case, your job is not to panic right now. If you panic, you lose. Plain and simple. In all high stakes sort of environments, I ain't been to the military, but you meet people who go to the military and they're like, yo, if you panic, you die. Think about that. Your job is to stay calm right now. Because right now, the only thing you can control is what you do. You can't control the government spending. You can't control who's in office. You can't control what the Republicans are doing. You can't control what the Democrats are doing. Again, my personal opinion, all of these guys looking crazy right now. We got billionaires arguing over health care for poor people. I'm wagging my finger at both Republicans and Democrats right now. But again, I can't control that right now. My job is to focus on what I can control. Your job is to focus on what you can control. If you panic, you lose. Understand that. Now, with that said, y'all, we hit 100,000 likes. I don't even know what we're at right now. But as promised, I'm going to share my stock of the day. And as a little bonus, here it goes. Coach Sorter said her account is looking good. I love to hear that. Keisha said we had 116,000. Void Echo said we had 116,000. So with that said, y'all, my stock of the day is none other than AppLovin. Ticker APP. AppLovin is our stock of the day. Now, I'm going to tell you why AppLovin is our stock of the day, and I'm going to open this up, and this is going to be a shocker to you. But ticker APP is our stock of the day. But first, let me rewind. As a warning, that does not mean you go and throw all your life savings into AppLovin. That does not mean that you take one large lump sum of money and be like, all on AppLovin, all on red. No. That does not mean that you take this as advice of what you should do with your personal stuff. No. This is so that you can understand how I'm thinking about making money right now. This is meant to help you understand that there is also opportunity in chaos. Perfect example. Our average person inside of Benson that is holding AppLovin is up positively, aggressively at that. But yesterday, AppLovin got beat up. When I say beat up, it dropped 14% yesterday. 14% yesterday. And why is it our stock of the day today? Because today they responded. And they responded to an SEC report. The SEC had, hey, we're sort of concerned about this. This doesn't mean an investigation, but we need to look into this. And AppLovin said, hey, sure thing. Let me give you all the data. You absolutely need to analyze all of it because we ain't got nothing to hide. And as a result, the stock shot up 8% today. AppLovin is one of the world's best advertising companies on earth. Last year for us, this company did 800%. This year so far, it's up about 80%. Something crazy like that. What is it up this year so far? Let me double check. App Lovin is, yeah, I was spot on, 81% since January. And the reason why we love App Lovin, and by the way, when I was talking to that person earlier, I think it was, what was his name? He jumped in and said, "Yo, App Lovin has been crushing it for me. Thank you." I'm totally. Stephanie said, "Can she share her percentage for App Lovin?" Stephanie, please share your percentage for App Lovin. Stephanie is a person that has been using Benson. Benson has been buying up App Lovin for her. So Stephanie, please share your percentage for App Lovin. And this is again for the people who are in the chat who are like, is this guy real? Is he AI? Is he what is it? Blah blah blah. Stephanie is up 320% with App Lovin. Phenomenal. That means she has already 4x her money off of App Lovin alone. So Stephanie, good job. 300. What was that number? 300. Crazy. 320% with App Lovin. That is insane. That means she has 4x her money with App Lovin. Good job. Good freaking job, Stephanie. Those are numbers that, again, most people just never see. Good job. Our stock of the day. Stephanie, I appreciate that. She said, all due to you. I appreciate that. We are just here trying to do our job and make sure that, we all win here. So I appreciate you, Stephanie. And App Lovin is also our stock of the day. And the reason why it's the stock of the day is because App Lovin is building something that is clear. What App Lovin does is they connect companies with their end consumer, and they use ads to do that. So you have a company, you want to run some ads. App Lovin is where you go to get in front of the right people. Now, what's important is that App Lovin uses AI and they focus on mobile devices. Whereas all the other companies that focus specifically on TV data, App Lovin 2, 3, 4 years ago started to realize, hey, internet traffic is starting to heavily flow through our mobile devices. I think 2021 was the first year where internet traffic was higher. Internet traffic was higher than like TV traffic, something crazy like that. And App Lovin said, hey, we need to start preparing for this. And as a result, App Lovin started building out the entire infrastructure underneath it. That infrastructure is called Axon. Axon is one of App Lovin's #1 products. And again, they use ads to get in front of the right people using AI. It's quite simple. And they focus on mobile devices. That's really it. Great job. Phenomenal business. It's a business that I have been holding for about 3 years. I love it. It has made Benson's top 10 list multiple times. It's still doing well. Void Echo said, I know you can get fractional shares. Absolutely. You absolutely can. Shelton just said that he's up 400% with App Lovin. So great job. Yeah. And again, these are all people that actually use Benson. So we are not here. These are real people in the chat, y'all. So, yeah. Diego, good to see you, my guy. Now, with that said, I've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I appreciate every single person that has jumped on this chat. We're not done yet. I still actually got to explain one simple thing. Some people are new here. And because you're new, you're like, man, what is this random guy talking about? Thank you, Christina. What is this random guy talking about? My name is Philip Aubrey. I am the CEO of Benson AI. And what we essentially do is use AI to do all of your investing for you. The research, the buying, the selling, the monitoring, all of it. Every single month, we share with you our best 10 stocks. You approve the ones that you like, and we take care of the rest. And as you can see from the chat here, these are real people dropping their own numbers on how they are doing with Benson. It's only so much I can say about how well we are at our job, but other people here sharing it for you. How do you get the app? It's actually quite simple. Go to your app store on your iPhone and type in Benson AI. You're going to see an icon that looks something like that. Simple. Download the app. Tell Benson how much to invest every week. It does the rest. Every single day, in addition to that, you get a 60-second, maybe 90 seconds sometimes, depending on how talkative I'm feeling. 60 to 90-second podcast letting you know what's happening today, how the market is moving, what this means for you. Every single day. In addition to that, I text every single person that downloads the app. I text them because I want them to understand one simple thing. I am the guy behind this. My job is to make this process as easy as possible for you. I want to know when there's something that you don't like. I want to know when there's something that you love. Because by getting feedback directly from you, I get to turn this product into something better that helps more and more people. Stephanie just said something which I have heard from a lot of people. She said, add the podcast to your morning routine. There are thousands of people who log into Benson every single day just to listen to the podcast. Like, I need to start sharing that information on TikTok, but so far I'm just leaving it directly inside of Benson. Miss Nancy said, thank you, Philip. You've done well for me. You are very welcome. Delisa said, does it have to be weekly investments if you want the absolute best returns? Yes. But keep in mind, Delisa, you get to decide how much it invests weekly. Say, for example, you are paid every 2 weeks. You only have $100 every 2 weeks. Just tell Benson to invest $50 every week. But if you want the best returns, you are absolutely allowing Benson to invest weekly. You get to decide how much. But yes, you want the tool investing weekly for you. Gene said, does it rebalance portfolios automatically? Yes, it does. It does everything for you. It sells for you as well. So yes, Gene. Yes. So with that said, if you are new to this investing game, if you are senior in this investing game and you just want something that makes your life easier, you are 100% downloading Benson. It is really that simple. The app is like $20. That's it. You would probably donate $20 to a homeless person on the corner. And with $20, you have an AI that is doing all the research, buying, selling, monitoring, all automatically for you. That's it. Sing just asked, what's the minimum you say invest weekly? Sing, I have an answer that you are not going to like. I am going to say start small and start comfortably. When you are new to investing, your job is to get comfortable first. I say you don't like that answer, Sing, because that was not a number. So the number that I say most people start with is $50 weekly, which is about $200 a month. If that is too little for you, double it. Go to $100 every week. If that's too little for you, double it, do $200 every week. If $50 is too much for you, cut it in half, do $25 every week. The number that you start with is not as important as actually starting. Benson allows you to invest as little as $15 every week, all the way up to $300 every week. That's simple. It's really that simple. Gene asked, how exactly does Benson AI pick stocks or ETFs to invest in? That is a whole research paper, but I'll keep it high level. We analyzed roughly 120 different variables for every single stock in the stock market. We rank them from best to worst, and then we release our top 10. After you approve of the ones that you like, then Benson is then going to reevaluate your entire portfolio and say, of the ones that Gene said it's okay to buy, which ones are the best ones to buy right now? Boom, it buys them. HBA said, do you have to invest every week? If you want the best returns, you're investing weekly. Benson will automatically always opt to do what is absolutely best, which is invest weekly. But again, you can tell it how much to invest weekly. So if you're like, hey, I normally invest $100 a month, cool. What that means for Benson is just that it's investing $25 every week. So yes, you want the app investing every week. It doesn't require any extra lifting from you. It is just the tool doing exactly what it has found to be best. But again, it's a simple app. It's not something that is designed for you to have to press all these buttons and be obsessing, checking 47 times a day. Your goal is sit back, let the AI work for you. Tui said, should we approve 4 or 5 stocks total? Tui, I think that is a perfect number. You do not want to try to approve all 10 stocks every month. There's overlap between the stocks. Our goal is to say, here are the best ones. Pick the ones that you like. Which ones have, a risk profile, because we do share with you the risk, the rating. We share those things with you. We also explain the stock to you. Like, we want you to pick which ones you like. You don't have to like all 10. No one should like all 10. Pick the 3, 4, 5 that you like. Call it a day. Because no matter what, if you start picking all 10, we're still going to start selling some stuff. Like, bro, you don't need to own all 10 of them. What you start to realize also is that our strategy is to put more money behind your best ones. And that just means, hey, you may have some good stocks. They may be doing very well, but they're still not your best ones. And we're going to close those out and buy more. Benson is the driver. Webull is the car. That's a perfect analogy, Christina. I have not explained it that simply. I am absolutely stealing that. So you're going to hear on these other TikTok lives / YouTubes that I am stealing your exact wording there. Benson is the driver. Webull is the car. Yeah. Where does the actual transaction occur? Inside of your Webull account. So Webull is the brain. Or Benson is the brain. Webull is just the wallet. So yeah. What prompts the driver to sell? There's a lot of variables that prompts it to sell. There is no single thing. ARC, we are not touching. Any other questions about Benson? Our AI investing app. Any other questions there? You will need to have a Webull, but Benson will help you do that. So no biggie there. What other questions come to mind? We're at 2 hours and 22 minutes. It's about time for me to get off, y'all. So I'm going to finish up with one simple tradition that I absolutely love, which is what I like to do is go down the entire list of every single person and essentially say goodnight to every single person in the chat. Ming Flower said, I downloaded the app. It has no navigation. I don't know what you mean by that. No navigation. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Can we still buy individual stocks or on Webull, or just let Benson do the job? So Sandy, you can technically continue buying individual stocks on Webull. It is your account. You can do whatever you want with it. What I would say though, allow Benson to own Webull and you do what you want inside of your Robinhood account. And I say that because you're going to start recognizing you have these different strategies. If you're buying and doing all this other stuff inside of Webull and Benson is controlling it, it's like you're interrupting the strategy. And it's your account. You can do whatever you want. I will say that, Miss Sandy. We won't stop you from doing anything, but if you're asking for my personal opinion on what is best practice, go have fun or play around inside your Robinhood. Let Benson play around in Webull. I play around. That's terrible language there, but you get the point. Yeah. Does that make sense, Sandy? I hope that makes sense, Sandy. I appreciate you, Sandy. Jess Rod, good to see you. Good to see you, Jess Rod. You jumped in right at the end. But it is good to see you. Void Echo, I appreciate you. Void Echo said, you are that guy. Yo, y'all being nice today. I appreciate y'all. With that said, y'all, let me start winding down. I am going to go through and say good night to every single person here. And the reason why I do this, one, quite simple. I appreciate every single person that jumped on the live, asked questions, contributed to the likes. All of it makes it a lot easier for everyone else here. That's really it. And as a result, I just like to say thank you. So my tradition before logging off is that I just like to say good night to every single person that's here. Ming said, I just feel like it's not super user friendly or I don't understand it. Tell me what you don't understand, Ming, because maybe that is feedback I can take. So with that said, while I'm waiting on Ming, keep in mind, Ming, I also do text you to figure out if there's anything that you may need help with. Let's see. Oh, good morning, Nancy. With that said, y'all, let me start winding down. I'm getting tired, y'all. I'm definitely skipping stuff. Ming, I will text you if you need. Well, I will text you no matter what. But the onboarding is actually quite simple. We ask you one question per page on onboarding, which is how much do you want it to invest? We show you the top 10 stocks, you approve. That's pretty much it. But you also can talk directly to Benson. But, if you're confused about something, I'll shoot you a text. So, yeah, well, I will be there to help out and collect that feedback. Maybe you'll see something that I haven't seen. With that said, y'all, going down the list. Good night, Stephanie. Christina, good night. Thank you for all the really good questions, Christina. Pam, good night. Thank you for jumping on so early as well, Pam. And as you can tell, I am feeling better. Pam checked up on me while I was sick, y'all. As y'all know, Pam is family. Most everybody here is family, so I just appreciate the love, y'all. Kimberly Draft, good night. Void Echo, really great questions. Thanks for jumping in the chat. Keisha, good night. I just saw your text message. I'll respond after I jump off of live. Morgan, Janice, good night. Sandra, good night. Lisa, who happened to have been the first person to jump on the live when I started it. So Lisa, thank you. I didn't say this, Lisa, but every time I jump on, I'm always nervous. What if only 2 people show up? What if only 2 people show up? So just having one person in the chat when I am getting set up and getting going quite literally makes me feel so much more calm. Lisa, I don't know if you could tell, but I was definitely nervous. I'm like, it's been 2 weeks. What if nobody jumps on? The whole nine. So Lisa, you were the first person here and you kind of grounded me today to be like, yo, I know the routine. I'll be first here. I'll answer a few of your questions to help you relax. So all that to say, thank you, Lisa. And that's LM Hawk 47. So thank you there, Lisa. Sandra, good night. Miss Yvonne, as always, good night. Brown Eye 76, good night. Melbourne, good night. Delisa C, good night. GGAI, good night. GGAI, you can expect an email from me tomorrow, by the way, Gigi. Sandy, good night. Tove, good night. Okoji, same thing for you. Expect an email from me tomorrow. Ming Flower, it sounds like I'm saying mean. I'm saying Ming, M-I-N-G. I will text you just to see what you need help with Benson. If you tell me your first name on Benson, I will just make sure to double check. If you need any help with Benson. Jess Rod, it is always great to see you as well. Good night, Chandra. Good night, user 109-712-35178. Good night, Jamal, my guy. Good night. Son of Kemet, good night. Miss Me, good night. City Dog, good night. The Way of Truth, good night. Jandira, good night. Miss E. Hampton, good night. Brenda Foytik, good night. Official Junior, good night. Mr. Well Grounded himself, I love that name. Good night, brother. Sweet Thing, good night. Yo Hanak, good night. Mitch, good night. Pure Tonics, good night. Reese, good night. Emma Quiller, good night. Gravy for All, good night. Keisha, good night. HBA, good night. Prayer Works, very true, good night. Sam I am, good night. C Dell MC, good night. Miss Nancy Hackett, good night. CP Global, good night. Lizzie Kenya, good night. Patrice Haynes, good night. Share it or regret it, good night. Sierra or Clara, good night. Strategy wins all, good night. Jazzy, good night. We are not in the UK just yet. Delicious Mills, good night. D Rob 408, good night. Dearest, good night. Anissa 101, good night. Professor Ogilvy. I love that. Do y'all know who Professor Ogilvy is? That is dope. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but that's just the first name that popped to mind after I read that. Professor Ogilvy, good night. Jojo, good night. User 509-291-417-98513. Good night. Dame Ski, good night. Goody, good night. Freedy, good night. User 407-0258-861-19971. Good night. 402, good night. Ibby, good night. Derek, good night. Natalie, good night. Just This Life, good night. Maria Ken, good night. Nay, good night. The Parkers, spot on, Jamal. Luis Hernandez, good night. Anthony, good night. Journey 1990, good night. Ray, good night. Atif, good night. Shar, good night. Sarita, good night. Joseph Aina, good night. Blessings, good night. With that said, y'all, I will be back Thursday, 7:30 Eastern. And as a reminder, go ahead and download Benson, y'all. That is all that I have. Good night. Be easy, y'all.